Welcome to Bookshelf Bunny. I'm Kim and today is day 11 of Vlogmas. So today is Sunday, it's clean the house day, but I did manage to start a couple new books. I don't want to talk about those right now though, but I will tell you what I'm reading. I started Christmas Bookshop and I also started Book Lovers by Emily Henry. So those are two new books on the go, so I'm sure I'll talk about those later. But for now I wanted to tell you the audiobook I just finished, which is this beauty. The Dark One by Nikki St. Crow. So The Dark One is a dark romance. It is a Peter Pan retelling in a very dark and twisted way. The story is really interesting. There is a lot of graphic sex, so warning, if you are not into that, this may not be the book for you. To expect a coworker, suggested the first book to me as a semi-spooky read, so then I decided to carry on with the second book. And I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. The graphic sex is not my thing, but the story was good. I was pleasantly surprised. So far, this series has got me pretty hooked. It's a dark take, a Peter Pan story. So in our first book, we meet Pan, who is kidnapping darlings on the regular because Wendy Darling stole his shadow and he needs it back. Otherwise, Neverland is going to die, and possibly him too. So he's hunting for his shadow, and he's convinced there are inherited memories in the minds of the Darling descendants. So our second book picks up from that. So Pan has found his shadow, but it's taken off on Neverland in Hook's territory. And so now he has to get it back to hang on to his seat of power. So now the second book introduces Hook to us, which is interesting. His story is interesting. The crocodile is a person who took off his hand and ate it because this guy's twisted. I haven't actually met the crocodile yet, but we've heard of him. There are two shadows lost on the island, Peter Pan's and the shadow of the Dark One, which is sort of the alter ego. There's a light shadow and a dark shadow. So it's an interesting retelling. It takes the basic story, but then turns it on its head into something else entirely. A total fantasy novel, plus graphic sex. But if you can get past the graphic sex, the story itself is interesting. So I gave it a 4 out of 5. The only reason it didn't get a 5 out of 5 was because it is heavy on that graphic sex, and that is not the reason I read a book. A little romance, a little sex in a story to push the plot along is one thing. But when the story is sex, that loses me. So this is kind of in the middle of that for me. There's a little too much, but the story is just interesting enough that I want to keep going. So 4 out of 5, check it out. It's an interesting read if that's a dark romance is your thing. I liked it. It was good. I'm going to pick up the third one of these days. All right, book nerds, that's it for me. I will see you tomorrow. I'll leave you with some more of my favorite Christmas light displays.